What's up, you guys? This is DJ Handmade, and I'm going to teach you how to DJ. This is part 3 in my series called How to DJ 101. And today I'm going to go through some aspects of the program Rekordbox. And welcome to my spaceship. We're out here in space today on my green screen. So we're going to get started with some basics of how to use Rekordbox. And as you can see, there is a list of tracks here in the middle. And then there's some WAV files at the top. The very top 2 WAV files actually connect to your system, whatever system you have. So the top file here is the left deck right here, and the bottom file is actually your right side. So you have left and right. So top is left, and the right side is your bottom one. So if I press a cue point, you can see how it will engage onto the screen. Now, I set cue points ahead of time. If I didn't have any set, I can actually set them right now, or I can set them through the software. I'll press it again so you can see it. It's cue point A. Now I'm going to jump to cue point B so you can see how it interacts with the software. I can also see these WAV files on the actual system that I have, which is the XDJ-XZ. There is a screen here that I can see it. There's actually a display screen on the jog wheel as well that I can see the entire WAV file. I just jumped to cue point C. I'm going to stop that, and I'm going to show you the bottom track if I press my cue A over here on the right deck. Now, there's a lot of information that you can see on the screen. It might be a little bit small right now, but in a minute I will enlarge this to full screen. But it does include the BPM and the key. And these are not at the same BPM. On the left deck, it's at 124, and on the right is at 126. So I would need to adjust the speeds to make these work. But I'm just kind of showing you that you can see it. I just went to cue point B. And then I stopped it. Now, how do you interact with your system and Rekordbox? So on my system, there are a couple buttons at the top. I'm going to click the back button, and then it's going to allow me to move the cursor. See how it's highlighted in blue and it's moving around? So I'm going to select a different track, and then I'm going to press load onto 1, which is deck 1 over here on the left side. And now it's pulled up everything again. And if I hit my cue point A, then it's going to start. And I can do that with the bottom track as well, which I will do right now. So those are some basics of how the system interacts with Rekordbox. And I have my computer over here. I'm kind of looking at the screen, which you can see over here, really, really tiny. On the very far right, it has playlists. And then in the middle, it shows you what's in the playlist. And then really small, you probably can't see this, it tells you related tracks. And then at the top, it has the waveforms. And then on the left, it tells you the name of the song with the waveform. And on the right, it tells you the name of the song with the waveform as well. And again, the left is the top and the right is the bottom. So that's all I'm going to do right now in this screen. And then I'm going to actually show you on the computer just the full screen of Rekordbox. So hold on one second. I am back, and you can't see me, but you can hear me, and I'm going to show you in greater detail. So you can see the cursor on my computer. This is on the channel 1. This is on channel 2. Here's where the BPM is on both sides of it, and I can change that with my tempo fader. So I've got You Can't Touch This on the left and Better Now on the right. Let me show you E minor on the left, B flat major on the right. I have my cue points, so it tells you where it is. So this is at the start, then 30 seconds, etc. Same thing over here. I'm just going to play cue point A so you can hear it. Now I'm going to lower the the fader so you can hear me talk. So while this is going, I'm going to start adjusting the speed so that you can see how it looks on the screen. So I just moved the fader and it's about 126. I'm going to turn it back up. So hypothetically, these two tracks would actually work really well together right now in terms of speed. I'm just going to play the other track as well in a second and show you what happens if you try to put them together.
Can't touch this.
I have the volume off, but you can see how I was lining it up together. They should be together. I'm going to raise the volume of the fader and see if they even sound good. I have no idea. They might sound off. And I'm going to lower the bass so that the bass is not conflicting.
Can't touch this.
Now I just lowered the you can't touch this, and I'm putting better now. And I'm going to raise the bass. You can still hear the other track, the bass pretty loud at this time on the left side. Here, I'm going to raise it up. This is where DJing comes in, like the volume that you want the track at, the bass. I'll lower the bass, and I'll lower the bass on the other track, so you can kind of hear that the bass cut out completely. You can also cut out the mids. I'll cut out the mids on the left track, and I'm going to raise the volume on Post Malone's Better Now. But I don't have the bass on, so I'm going to also raise up the bass.
I'm trying to forget, but I can't get it out of my head. You probably think that you are bad.
I'm going to lower the filter down so you can kind of hear what's going on and see. Now I'm going to just stop the right channel. You can still hear the left. I'll turn it back on. Right now I have the mids and the lows off, and I'm going to raise them up. So you can really hear how that affects the sound. Okay, I'm going to stop this track. Now I'm going to just show you around on here. So we are in what's called performance mode. If I change this to export mode, that is where you can export to a USB. There's also a lighting mode if you want to do lighting. I'm going to keep it on performance for the time being. Okay, so there's some options here. 2-deck horizontal. You can have a different view. I prefer this view. I'll show you the others. I really don't like that view. I'm not used to looking at it that way. It's funky to me. I'll show you what it looks like when you play a track. So you can't see the entire thing. You're just seeing a small amount of it right there. It's kind of funky to me. Okay, so if you have 4 decks, this is what it will look like. But there is nothing here, and there's nothing here because I only have 2 channels right now because I don't have CDJs attached. So I'm going to go back to 2-deck horizontal. Okay. Now at the top, there's a bunch of options here. I have it where I can record the set if I want. Let me click this. I don't personally like to use it, so I'm going to take it away. Sampler. You can set noises, which I don't really use that either. Here's the lighting. I personally have not been using that either very often. Okay, the main thing is your collection, which has like every song in the universe on your computer or your hard drive or whatever is plugged in to get your music from. Just a little note, when you're importing, you need to go up here, File, Import. If you want to import a track, folder, or playlist, you need to pick that. then you need to pick something from your computer. And it needs to stay exactly where it was when you imported it. Otherwise, it disappears. Okay, playlists. These are really helpful. Click on one from yesterday because I do a Master Music Radio. I have that. I'm going to click on this. If you want to use this on a computer and just drag something over, you definitely can. And I will do the same over here, and I'll show you what they sound like. Here we go. These are the drops.
Master Music Radio.
Búscanos en la website. Como www.mastermusicradio.com.
So those are the drops for the radio station. So I always have to put those at the top. And then as you can see, the rest of the music comes up here that I planned out for yesterday's show. I'll show you different playlists. Same thing. So I do a weekly radio show. These are from different club appearances. I'll scroll down. So related tracks, it will tell you some ideas if you need help with that. I'm going to go over here. Sampler, all samples. These are some samples that I have in here. iTunes, you can look up what you've got. You can go to SoundCloud if you want and log in. Beatport if you want. You can have devices. You can have your recordings. There's a lot of things over here. Let me see what recordings I've got. All right, so here's a recording that I did. So it saves it on there. All right, we're going to go back to collection. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about what you can set this the way you want it. But you've got the preview. You can see it. BPM, track title, artist, genre, key, the time of the song, the date that you put it in to help you organize. That's how I have it. Now, you don't have to have it that way. You can do it in a different way if you want. Here's another view. If you like to view it in these ways. I personally view it like this. It makes more sense to me this way. I also don't use this function right here that often, so it's not something that I personally, I don't use the pink, green, and everything's like the same color. Some people really get into that. That's just not something that I've been personally doing very much. I want to show you over here. BPM plus key, this is related. So if you're DJing and you didn't really plan out what you're going to do next, you can look over here to get some ideas of what you might want to throw into your mix or not. I'm just going to bring that up because that's something I don't really use that often. So I hope this is helpful. I mean, you can scroll down. You can technically set your cue points in here. I'll just put a song up here. Playing this song right here. Of course, that's the song that randomly I picked to use. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you want to set up a cue point, let's say I want to scroll here, then you can just click this button. Blink. And then now on F, it will work. Now, if you want to take it away, there's just a little X right here. You can click on it, and it's gone. These are really helpful. I use it constantly. I mostly set it using my system, but if I'm on the couch and I'm tired or whatever, I can sit there with headphones on and set all my cue points as well. So let's say we want this song. Same thing. If I can actually move, hear how it's moving the track. I can go in here as well. Boom. I'm going over here. Guess what? I can actually play the track from here. And I can press pause as well. So you can do a lot just from your computer. You can also change the speed. I'll just change the speed or increase the speed, or you can type in there 125 if you want. Whatever you want to do, you can do a lot with your mouse or your cursor here. This is a beat loop. You can increase it, decrease it. It just selected a part, so here we go. You can hear this. can pause it. If you click the beat loop number, it will keep going. So I will set that on actual. See these little lines right here? This is an actual beat and a bar. These little lines are subdivided. So here we go. Let's do a four bar loop right there. That can be really helpful if you're trying to grab a certain section of a song and you want to repeat that a couple times, make it build up, make it exciting, or you want to transition into another song. So that's something that's really helpful that I do use all the time. The effects I also use all the time, and they are up here: echo, delay, spiral, vinyl, break. I will show you guys what they sound like. If you are familiar with the XDJ-XZ on the system, above the hot cues, you have 4 options: hot cue, beat loop, slip loop, and beat jump. So I'm going to click on the slip loop, which will actually let me use effects when I'm connected to the computer. So I'm going to press play. And I'm just going to start using the effects so you can hear it. You can probably see on my computer what's going on. So over here, these are what I'm controlling. So when I press something like the roll, and I have it set to half, you can see that. All right, I'm gonna press this echo. That's really helpful if you want to end early, and you have to do a hard out, so you can just press echo and then kind of fade out, and then with your other hand you can press the pause button and end your set. Now I'm going to press play again. So there's a bunch of other ones over here and over here, and you can set them to whatever you want. You have a lot of choices. So it's pretty amazing what you can do on your computer and how it connects to your system. And yeah, there's just, see, all of this stuff right here. Hot cue, pad effects, slicer, beat loop, beat jump, keyboard. There's just so much to play around with on Rekordbox. It's really, really, really helpful. It's a pretty easy program to get used to. The only thing is it's really small. The font. That's my only thing. Is this is really, really tiny writing, and this is pretty small, tiny writing. So when you're on your system, it is a little easier to see it, depending on the system you have, than actually through the computer, especially if you're at a club and it's really dark. So I wouldn't rely on trying to see it. And you have to manually enter in a lot of stuff for most tracks. So, for example, this one, it doesn't have who wrote it. So you gotta like actually type that in over here in the artist area. It has everything here, but you've got to type it in. You've got to type in the genre. Some people have it saved, but when you're putting your music in, most of it is not. So if you're wanting all of that, you just got to sit there and input it one at a time, and it does take a lot of time to do it. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if there's an easier way, but I just sit down and I just kind of type it in if it's not already there, and try to organize it, because this should be the track name. However, on my system, it is kind of nice to have everything, because on the computer you can see it, but when you're on your system, whatever you use, I have the XDJ-XZ, it will only tell me the track title on the display window, so I like to be able to see who wrote it as well. It's also written bigger over here, so that you don't have to rely completely on this, because this is so small, especially if your computer's a little farther away, then you can look up there. So anyways, I hope this was really helpful. This is part 3, so if you are, a real beginner, you should probably go back to part 1 and part 2 and check out those videos. I am going to stop for today, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it and learned a ton about Rekordbox, and get started DJing and have fun with it.